for hip mobility stuff, we see people doing lots of stretches and lots of like 90-90 kind of stuff, right? But just like we did with your shoulder training, one thing we're gonna really pay attention to is how much you're contracting your hips, right? So if we're prepping you to do standard weight training, stretching isn't entirely the answer, right? I need you to contract tissue so that that tissue can contract a little bit more effectively when you're doing a squat, a deadlift, things like that. You and I are gonna do a, we call it a bear sit, okay? A bear sit is used to open up a deduction or abduction of the hips. So I'm gonna have you put your knees in this position. I have your back against the wall, so your spine does not compensate, okay? It's gonna get real uncomfortable here in a minute. You're gonna feel like you're delivering a baby. So what I'm trying to have you do is bring your feet out like that. And what you're gonna do is put your hands on your ankles and use your elbows to push down. Do you feel your inner thigh stretching when you do that? Yep. Okay, so right now you're gonna start with a passive stretch, okay? I want you sitting up nice and tall, thinking about extension of your spine, and then without losing the spine extension, use your elbows and drive your hips out further. Okay, you should feel a stretch going on through the inner thigh and the groin. We're gonna do something called PAILs and rails. Okay. PAILs and rails are a way for you to contract muscles at their end range of motion. Okay, this is how we're gonna build strength, say in the bottom of a squat, right? You need to get into, say, this position. You're opening this up basically to prime you for that movement. So breathe into that. I have you on a timer. On a scale of 1 to 10, where would you say your stretch intensity is?
About a 7.
7, okay, good, I like that. I like staying in the 7-8 range. If it's like a 5-6, it's not intense enough to do anything for you, right? But if it's like a 10, you're gonna get too uncomfortable to actually do what I want you to do. So take a big deep breath, try to use your elbows to push the knees further apart, and basically all you are doing is stretching the adductor with the hip externally rotated. So whenever we see people doing like hip CARs like this, you're kind of opening up this corner of your hip. We're gonna do a little bit more for that afterwards, but all we're doing is opening up range of motion so that we can strengthen that range of motion afterwards. So this is where it's gonna get a little dicey. Without moving your spine, what I want you to think is your arms are locked in stone, okay? We just spent time stretching these muscles. What I want you to do now is push your knees up against your elbows. Do you feel your inner thigh now contracting? But you notice you didn't actually move, right? So like your arms are kind of a wall, right? If someone were to walk past us, it doesn't look like anything changed. But internally, you now feel that muscle, instead of stretching, contracting. Is that right? So keep pushing your knees up against my hands and your elbows, but don't let the elbows move. Elbows keep the knees fixed. Okay. So keep them there. You see how you're doing an isometric contraction. It's very similar to like a wall sit, right? When you're sitting against the wall, you're contracting your quads. When you're doing this, all you are doing is contracting the groin, the inner thigh, the adductor, stuff like that. So keep going with that. I have you on a timer. Keep that chest tall. Think about extending the spine a little bit more. Yeah. And now keep driving the knees up against ourselves. So knees in, knees in. Yeah, man, right there. Keep going, keep going. You feel the inner thigh contracting, but don't let your knees win. Your elbows are to create a wall. So all you're trying to do is this, but you're blocking yourself, right? So you create the block and you start pushing up. You feel all this stuff tensing. You got 30 seconds. See if you can go a little bit harder for me. So if I said create more tension, like you're doing a 1 rep max, right? You're trying to generate as much tension in the inner thigh as you can. You see what we're doing there? Yep. You got another 10, 9, 8, keep going, 7, exactly, 6, don't let the knees win, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, relax, but don't move. Should have been fairly uncomfortable, especially if you're not used to training that area, right? Yeah. Now what I want you to do is don't move this at all. Okay. Try to pull your knees away from your elbows now. So you're going the opposite direction. Now you should feel your butt contracting. You feel the outer hips now tensing instead of the inner hips. So you're trying to create a little bit of space between these two. Drive the knees out, the feet stay still. Think about driving the knees apart. Open them up, open them up. Do you feel your butt contracting there? Yeah. Good, keep squeezing your butt as hard as you can. Keep holding it, keep holding it. So you see how we stretched this, then we squeezed this. Now you're squeezing the opposite side of your hip, right? You should feel the butt contracting quite a bit there. Hold it, hold it. You got another 10, 9, squeeze harder. Knees out further. 4, 3, 2, 1, relax. Don't move a thing. Reposition your feet. Reposition your feet. Now one more round.
Okay.
Starting to sweat already, huh?
Yeah.
It's way harder than it looks.
Yeah.
Now again, use your elbows, drive them out. Okay. So you're using your arms to push your knees down.
Okay.
Again, you feel the inner thigh tensing, or stretching rather, right? You feel just a stretch, that's all it is, a passive stretch. Now again, push the knees up against your elbows, but the elbows are not moving. You see what you're doing there? You created another wall, right? So if my hand was right here, I'd say try to break my hand in between your forearm and your knee. You're trying to create as much tension. Yup. I push down, you push up. You feel a contraction.
Yeah.
See how hard you can go for another 10, 9, create as much tension as you can. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax, don't move. Do the reverse again. You're gonna do a rail. So you're gonna rotate the knees outward even further, but you should feel the butt now doing the work. You feel the opposite side of the hip. Good, hold it. You got 10 seconds. 9, 8, chest up taller. 7, 6, try to get as far away from my hand as you can. Keep going, keep going. 3, 2, and 1. So you see what that sequence was right there? We went ahead and put you into a deep passive stretch. All this stuff was opening. And then all I had you do was drive the knees upward, where you're trying to basically do this motion. And then you felt this muscle contracting, right? You felt a different sensation. That different sensation is your training. That is what you're going for. And then from here, you drove the knees out further, right? External rotation. And then you felt the butt contract to do that, right? So that's kind of a way for us to address not just flexibility of your inner thigh and your groin, but mobility, to make sure you have strength there so that you are a little bit more effective when you're going ahead and doing the rest of your weight training. Does that kind of make sense? Awesome. We're gonna go ahead and do another drill to reinforce the range of motion that we just opened up. Okay. We just opened up range of motion, right? You and I just spent time stretching and then contracting stretched muscles, right? You and I are gonna do something called eccentric loading. That means we are resisting weight. We're trying to strengthen and reinforce the range of motion you just opened up. So what you're gonna do is sit on this box. You're gonna hold on to this however you want. The cable is gonna pull you into external rotation. You see how the pulley is trying to get me all the way up to here? You're gonna resist, pull yourself down. My hips contracting, and I am rotating as I go up. Okay, we see lots of people in the gym doing exercises like this, right? There is a rule in movement that rotation of your hip is deeper within your hip joint. I am trying to train the rotational tissue, not the tissue that does this stuff. We're trying to get as deep into your hip as we can. We're gonna start on your left hip. Again, the positioning is gonna be like this. I'll get you situated and then we'll talk about it. Again, a lot of people are working their glutes, but they're not working their hip. That is two different things. So you and I are trying to train the hip capsule as best we can. So what I want you to do is grab onto that pole with your right arm. I don't care which pole it is. Get this left or right foot as like a nice stable planted position. So what you're gonna do is start right here. I'm gonna let go. Do you notice how you're internally rotated right now, right? We have the ankle outside of the knee. I'm gonna let go. You feel your hip contracting to hold your leg there. Now use the tension in the outer hip to resist your leg going into external rotation. So slowly let the foot come forward. You're resisting the pull of the cable, and I'm gonna put you on a timer. And slowly bring the foot up like this. Yes. Keep going. Keep going. Do you still feel that outer hip resisting? Keep going. Keep going. Take your time. Take your time. Take your time. Keep the chest tall. Beautiful. Keep going. Keep going. Reset. 3, 2, lean forward a little bit more. 1, chest tall, hold. You feel the hip contract. You see when I let go, you feel the outer hip contracting to maintain internal rotation. Now again, resist the pull of the cable. And all we're doing is corkscrewing your femur, right? This is the only bone that's moving. How heavy is the weight? There's some weight there?
Yeah.
Okay, you feel the resistance in the hip? Good. Take your time, keep going. Yep, 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 yep. Keep going, and so you're gonna go until you feel the max stretch there. Reset. 3, 2, 1, hold, hold, hold. Run away from me. Nice, and then slowly bring it back up. And again, if you felt the need for your knee to move, be mindful of that, right? You're trying to lock this thing in stone, and the only thing moving is this bone externally rotating. Keep going, stay tall, stay tall, stay tall. Lean forward a little bit, don't lose me. Reset, 3, 2, 1, hold, hold. Nice, you feel that outer hip again. Keep going, you're at the 1 minute mark. Slowly rotate back. Again, you're eccentric loading. All you're doing is resisting the weight. Beautiful, good, keep the knee down, don't let the knee come up. Remember, you're rotating, yep. You see the difference right there. You can feel the tendencies there. I just want you to be aware of that. You'll get better at this. Then reset again, ready, set, hold. So you notice we're only doing the negative, right? We only do the negative because you're stronger in that. That means you can more effectively load your hip. I'm gonna have you now do the positive. So you're gonna come all the way up to your end point. Once you feel that end point, rotate back to the starting position. So you're gonna start internally rotating, getting the ankle out of outside the knee. You feel the hip contracting there, good. Now bring it back up. So again, everybody does warm-ups for stretching their hip. Your job here is to contract it, get as deep as you can, so all this tissue is just way more primed when we're going into your standard weight training. Bring it out, nice, nice. We feel this contract again. Beautiful, keep going, you got 30 seconds. How about you go a little faster right now? So now we can add velocity to it, right? So we always do slow and controlled. See if you can give me some, a little bit more of a faster tempo. Nice, lean forward a little bit, extend the spine. Yeah, man, extend from here. Keep going, lock this down. Good, rotate, rotate, rotate. Get the ankle out, come on, come on, come on. Find your outer hip. Good, again. 2 more reps. Beautiful, come on. 1 more rep. Nailed it.
There you go.
Good job. Bring it back up. Okay, so you kind of see the difference there. And again, I'm trying to reiterate the point that like you always see people doing like these the side kicks, right? Like abduction, kickbacks, but you don't see people working how the leg rotates. The internal and external rotation, the tissue that works that function is deeper. But people don't train that deep stuff. And that's why they still have problems, right? I'm trying to get as deep as I can in there so all your muscles work better as you're doing the normal workouts, okay? Again, the reason we're doing that, just to reiterate for people watching, is that the deepest tissue is what's gonna influence your movement the most. When you do normal weight training, your body doesn't get that deep, deep tissue. I'm trying to access it, and that's the only way you're gonna train it, is through tissue-specific, we call it internal training, right? Squatting uses it, but it doesn't train it. We have a phrase that we use in training for the stuff is that you use your hip to squat, but you don't squat for your hip.
Use your hip to squat.
But you don't squat for your hip. Do you see what I mean? So we did that for your hip so you can use it to squat. But the squat's not gonna make your hip better. Make sense? All right, we're gonna do 1 more drill.
Yes, sir.
Recap real quick. We did part 1 by stretching this, right? You pushed the knees up, drove the knees down. We tried to open up all this stuff, right? Then we used the cable to load that rotation. But you felt your outer hip mostly, right? You're trying to lengthen the outer hip. What you're gonna do now is shorten the inner thigh. So I'm gonna strap this ankle weight to you. And you're gonna lay like this. Keeping your spine completely still, you're gonna externally rotate. But instead of feeling the outer hip, you're gonna feel the inner thigh contracting. It's the opposite side of the joint, okay? So we train one side of the joint over here, you're training the other side of the joint here, so there's no stone that's unturned. So go ahead and lay on your side, face that way. All right, so you're on your side. This leg is straight, okay? All we call this is an axial rotation. You're rotating on one axis, up and down, right? Think like this is completely still, this bone is rotating. When you rotate up like this, do you feel your inner thigh tensing there? I'm gonna let go. Now, as you do this, you're gonna feel a tendency for your knee to start drifting upward. I don't want that to happen. I want the knee completely fixed the whole time. So again, when we do these sets, we go for over 2 minutes, right? Long in duration. So I'm gonna keep this completely fixed. I don't wanna see your spine or pelvis rotating. I want this positioning. Keep the knee down. Now lift the ankle up relative to the knee. Hold. Do you feel your inner thigh tensing there? Again, a lot of people do stuff for their glutes and their outer hip. No one's training the rotation of that bone. I want you to bring your foot down now. Keep the knee pivoted. Get the ankle up again. Lift up. Higher. Nice. Come back down. Watch this knee from drifting upward. Let's go again. Yes. Come back down. Give me a couple more reps there, hold it. Yeah, so you see how the knee wants to drift up? Something we can do is give yourself like a little door stopper here, right? So you have something to kind of press against yourself. Ready? Go ahead and lift up again. Hold. You feel the inner thigh tensing. Again, you're gonna look for the path of least resistance. You see how your knee wants to slowly bend. 90 degrees, okay? I'm gonna let go. 3, 2, 1. You see how much harder that is? Beautiful, beautiful. Slowly bring it back down. Come back up again. You got it, man. Keep going. I have you on a timer. You're at the 1 minute mark. Beautiful. You see how much you're shaking through here too. Beautiful. Bring it back down. Go again. You see how you're starting to rotate from here. Yep. Good. Exactly. Back down. See what we want there? You got another 40 seconds. Keep going. Beautiful. Try not to push off this leg too much. You see how that's happening too? That's okay. I'm just letting you be aware of it. Bring it back up. Nice. Keep going. Last one. Hold. Bring the foot out a little bit more. Ankle up higher. Hold. 10, 9, 8, 7. Come on, man. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax. So that was a 2 minute set, but I want you thinking that when people train that inner thigh muscle, what exercise are they usually doing? The inner and outer thigh machine, right? The machine where you're doing this and this. That is different than this. You see how it's two different motions, right? But if you're always doing the machine over there and you're never training this, you're missing a huge part of your hip. Kind of make sense? So again, to kind of just put the whole thing together, we opened up all this stuff, and then you reinforce that range of motion through the cable loading. We went ahead and used the cable cuff or the ankle weight to contract the inner thigh after we did all the rotation for the outer hip. It kind of makes sense? So they had a very logical progression with that. We open up range of motion, you reinforce range of motion, you strengthen range of motion. 1, 2, 3. Any questions on that?
No, man, that's different.
Different, yeah, man. I'm telling you, because we're working on they call it the accessory work, but I don't think that gets enough focus. You know, it's like the parts that make the squat better. That's how we do that. It's the individual components. So if
Actual workout, right?
it's well, you notice when we come and do our internal training, it's like an hour straight of us on the turf, like kind of playing on here. So you know, it's a real big deal, but it makes all the other lifts a whole lot better. We're done there. Thanks, man. That was good. That was real good.